y'all, I'm Kitty, and this podcast is mine, Missing, Murdered, Unidentified in New England. I cover cases from the New England states of Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Each episode takes place over the years of January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2020. And based on sources, some episodes will be long and others will be short, as these cases don't generally have much information available. All of the research, scripting, opinions, and mistakes herein are my own, and I will offer updates and corrections as needed. I do not trigger warn for wounds, as they are a necessary part of the narrative. I will trigger warn for such topics as animal death, domestic violence, suicide, etc. as needed. Now with that, please listen in as I tell you about June 2012. June 7th, 2012. On June 7th, 2012, a white female was discovered in Boston, Mass. In her residence in an undisclosed location. The deceased woman was pre-90, roughly 80 to 85. The woman was 5 foot 5 inches and about 60 pounds. The woman's eyes were unable to be recognized due to decomposition and putrefaction. Her gray or partially gray hair was long and wavy. The woman was discovered wearing black pants, 2 white shirts, and a green jacket. A white metal chain with a charm was discovered on the body. No other information is available. Please call 1-617-267-6767 with any information. June 18th, 2012. On June 18th, 2012, a white female was discovered in Boston, Mass. In her residence in an undisclosed location. The deceased woman was pre-60, roughly 58 to 60. The woman was 5 foot and about 79 pounds. The woman's hair was strawberry blonde to blonde, and her eyes were brown. The woman was discovered wearing blue jeans, a black undershirt, a gray hoodie, black tights, white long johns, and white socks. A white metal chain with a charm was discovered on the body, as well as a brown rope necklace. No other information is available. Please call 1-617-267-67 with any information. June 21st, 2012. Poor guy. Murdered for trying to become a better person. Alexon Hercules attended Don McKay School in East Boston, where he met John Feynman at the age of 12. John introduced Alexon to weightlifting during a time where Alexon was being recruited into one of Boston's most vicious gangs, MS-13. Years later, John and Alexon's paths crossed again, and Alexon became the first student of inner-city weightlifting, a program designed to train people's minds and bodies and keep them off the streets and out of gangs, and to reduce gun violence by amplifying the voice and agency of people who have most been impacted by systemic racism and mass incarceration. John was quoted as saying about the gang populace he worked with, "The scary stereotype captures a specific moment in time, but not the context of the person or their family." In 2010, Alexon was shot, rose up, got his GED, was stabbed several times in a separate incident, rose up again, and was living a better life for himself and his family. Alexon delayed a follow-up surgery to remove a bullet from his side so he could help his girlfriend with the birth and the exhausting weeks that follow birth. Fast forward to June 21st of 2012. Where Alexon was 19 and had been free from the judicial system for about 5 years. He earned his GED, had a steady job, was the father of a beautiful daughter, and had begun to transition into a productive young adult. Sources say he was on his way home from work, on his way home from the store, or on the way home picking food up for his girlfriend. Regardless of where he was coming from, he was heading home. It was shortly before midnight on June 21st, 2012. While at the corner of Marion and Bennington, members from a rival gang approached Alexon and his friends. His friends didn't feel anything untoward was going to happen, so they continued down the street. One of the friends heard Alexon pleading for his life, and then they heard the crowd run away. As Alexon's friends approached, they saw Alexon fall to the sidewalk. where he lay with 5 stab wounds to the chest. Alexon's friends rushed back only to hear his final word: love. His friends didn't see or recall the faces of those who were rushing past them. They were too caught up in the moment. Alexon's dear friend, Brianelle, 20 at the time, performed CPR and took off their shirt to try to stop the blood and begged Alexon not to die. Alexon's friends thought that he would survive, given all those other close calls. But this time, Alexon was taken to Mass General Hospital, where he's pronounced dead. At an earlier point in time, this same Mass General Hospital had released a magazine with Alexon as a star interview for his participation in ICW and turning his young life around. Alexon's dad, Salvador, said he thinks it was Alexon's testimony over getting shot years earlier that made him a target for retaliation, as he had received numerous threats regarding his testimony. The story that Alexon might have been killed over involved an unnamed person shooting Alexon in the leg as he was returning home from a party in 2010. What is known is that if it was due to this testimony, Alexon wasn't being protected. Young Alexon, who had worked so tirelessly to turn his life around, wanted to be a police officer and make a difference in his community. Do the right thing and call 1-800-494-TIPS with any information that can bring Alexon Hercules' killer to justice. June 22nd, 2012. On June 22nd, 2012, it was reported that an unidentified black male was discovered in his residence in Boston, Mass. This man had quarter-inch gray/partially gray hair with a beard and mustache. The man likely had brown eyes, but the color was not guaranteed due to putrefaction and decomposition. The man was dressed in blue and green plaid boxers, blue pants, and 2 pairs of white socks. No comparisons have been made, and no other information is available. Please call 1-800-494-TIPS. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, please email me at minepodcast@gmail.com. All one word, and mine is spelled with 2 M's, 2 I's, 1 N, 1 E. Please include what your message is about in the subject line. Later, y'all!